Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host Bryan. New week, new theme. And this week we're going to be checking out music that you've heard in films, and more specifically music that is written for films. April 3rd, while it was technically last week, was Film Score Day, a day to recognize the importance of music in film. The date was chosen for the 1942 release of the film The Jungle Book, which featured the first orchestral score written for a non-musical film, which was composed by Miklos Rocha. So we're going to check out some film music this week. Interestingly, we're not kicking it off with a film score, but we are checking it out. We are checking out a song written for a film. Now, I think interesting beyond this is that we also checked out a James Bond theme song a couple of months ago when we checked out Live and Let Die. Today we're going to be looking at the Duran Duran song, A View to a Kill. Let's dive into this and see what Duran Duran is bringing to the table today.
Meeting you with a view to a kill.
Wow, dropping the film title right at the start.
Faces, secret places, feel the chill.
There's a general optimism in the music, but his vocals being so soft, there's a little danger to them. Uncertainty, maybe?
But you know the plans I'm making still oversee. Could it be the whole lot opening wide? A sacred why, a mystery gaping inside. The weekends why, until we dance into the fire. That fatal kiss is all we
It's very bouncy.
dance into the fire. To fatal sounds of broken dreams. Dance into the fire.
Little syncopation there.
Fatal kiss.
Instead of landing on one with dance, it's the and of one.
Dance
See, that one landed right on it.
Choice for you is the view to a kill. Between the shades.
Okay, so the James Bond title songs are always played during the opening credits reel. I can't imagine this at the beginning of a Bond film.
First crystal tears fall as snowflakes on your
Those guitars are like buzzsaws.
years to drench your skin with lover's rosy stain. A chance to find the phoenix for the flame.
Those strings remind me of U2 for some reason.
Can we dance into the fire? That fatal kiss is all we need. Dance into the fire. To fatal
I'm gonna have the syncopation this time.
sounds of dreams. Dance
Yeah.
into the fire.
Okay.
That fatal kiss
Those brass
is all
stingers are
we
interesting.
need. Dance into the fire. When all we see is the view to a kill.
Okay, that final lead up into the final chord, that was very James Bondy. I think that's the only part in there that actually felt I don't know. Uh, Sophisticated, stealthy, secret agenty. I don't know. Granted, all right, I'm basing this off of like the 5 title tracks I've heard. But to me, there's always a smoothness to it all. Something a little laid back, a velvety element. That to me is what's going to create an iconic James Bond track. This is loud. It's rambunctious. Uh, it's full of exaggerated ideas. Those synth stingers on the brass there. One, it's just very bright, and but also the those really quick eighth notes, very staccato. The buzzsaw guitars. This is a rather aggressive track for James Bond. Now, also, I'm not a big James Bond fan either. I've only seen like 3 films, so I mean, take all this with a grain of salt, I suppose. I'm someone who doesn't have a lot of exposure to it, but enough to have formed an opinion. That opinion may not be well informed, but it is informed. So if anyone else wants to weigh in on this, on if you feel that this is a James Bond track, a good James Bond title track, let me know. I'm all ears on this. It's all subjective. I think at the end of the day, we can find patterns that have existed over the eras of James Bond films, but it's still going to end up being subjective. Some people are going to like some styles more than others. I suppose, though, we checked out, what was that one last time? I just mentioned it, too. But that one also had a rather bombastic section to it also. I think maybe it's just the sonic palette of this more than the size. I don't know. Definitely. Oh, that would be kind of fun though. I was going to say I need more exposure to both this song, I think, another time through it or so, but also to Bond themes in general. That would be pretty cool. How many are there? Like 20 maybe tops? Go through all of them and do a little analysis of what makes a James Bond title track. That'd be kind of fun. Got to find some time to do that. That sounds like a fairly large project. Let's talk about this though. On to the musical discussion here. I like the opening to this. There is a danger to it. I had mentioned that the vocalist kind of comes off with a little bit of airiness to their voice, a little bit of subtle, the breathiness, the ethereal element, like a shadow or fog. Even though, from what I've seen of especially classic James Bond, it's kind of campy. He's got a gadget for everything. It's not like traditional secret agent, stealthy kind of stuff. It's a little pulpier. And I think that despite that, there's still the element that he is a secret agent. His job is to get in and do the things that no one else can do. And this element of the vocalist at the beginning presents an airiness, a wispiness, something like a ghost, fog. Someone, something that can get anywhere, get through any defense. But it's surrounded by all of these loud sounds. It's a very, very rock track right from the kickoff. And the synthesizers, the drums, the guitars, they're all loud. Powerful, rambunctious, lots of stingers in here, lots of syncopation in here. I kind of view this as the lone person within a large, loud environment, trying to sneak through. Again, it's James Bond isn't really a sneaky guy, but I get that feeling from this. I think it's a really great way to start off the track and to introduce some storytelling. From here, though, we head into the chorus, and this is where things just ramp up. We got the dance into the fire, very loud, very projected. The vocalist is like He's behind this. These are words to be proud of right here. We're gonna sing this at the top of our lungs. We got the guitars and the drums all syncopated on this. They're loud, but the guitars sound like buzzsaws, dude. And it's just like these chunk, chunk. Again, syncopated guitar ideas. The drums and big like 80s style digital drums. And then we have the brass stingers. I don't think we had them on the first chorus, but we certainly had them in the second and final one. Just large, bombastic sounds. And by the end, just getting really playful with the rhythmic component to it. And speaking of rhythm too, we also have the offbeat syncopation on that third Dance into the Fire, where instead of coming down on beat one happens. It's just kind of silent. No one does anything there. Then they explode just after that with the line. And instead of dance in, you got dance into the fire, and it smoothly moves in there because you got less space to allow that first syllable to resonate. It's an interesting idea. I think ultimately it works. It is a catchy track overall. And we kind of shift between these two vibes of being the outsider in this loud, larger environment, and then being loud within it, and sort of being a part of that environment. Now, harmonically, though, this is interesting because despite the way I feel about most of this on the sonic side of things, harmonically, I don't know if I had heard this before knowing that it was tied to James Bond at all. I don't think I ever could see that. And even right now, I'm having a tough time seeing how this is a James Bond track. Musically, it is just fun, positive. There's an incredible uplifting string part to the pre-chorus, I think it is, that reminds me of some strings in a U2 track, and I can't think of what track it is, but I would not be surprised if it's the exact same sample for maybe the same device. It's just such an 80s string sound, a synthesized string sound. And it is 4-chord phrase, escalating in pitch, while also just being incredibly positive and uplifting. It's a really warm feeling overall. It's comfortable. There's almost no tension in the progression at all. And I pair that, and I use it as sort of an anchoring point for the rest of the chordal work in here, whether it is the melodic information of the vocals and feeling out what kind of notes they're singing and pairing that into a chord or a key, listening to the chords being played on the other instruments like the guitar, listening to the pedal tone stuff on the bass, giving us root notes. It's just bright and bouncy and poppy. It's a danceable song full of warmth and invitation. It is not a song that I think describes a film you're about to watch of a secret agent infiltrating a nefarious villain's base to stop them from doing whatever they're going to do, and the dangers of world espionage. Like, this song doesn't capture any of that, and I find that really interesting because it makes me wonder about the track from two perspectives. A lot of the time I approach music from the composition first. Harmonically, what is this song telling me? What kind of story are the melodies explaining? Rhythmic devices, what are we looking at here? Is it easy to follow? Is it difficult to follow? Is it chopped up? Are we looking at weird time signatures? All of these compositional ideas inform the song. But just as much as that, the atmosphere does too. Your sonic palette, what kind of instruments you're working with, whether that is on the production side, is synthesizers or guitars run through cabinets and amps and distortion pedals and all sorts of stuff to modify a sound. All of that's going to inform the character of a song. And that's usually a secondary component to me. But for understanding this track, I went to it first because I think that this song ends up being sound over composition. That's not to say that the composition doesn't inform too much of it, but that if I just listen to what's being played, it's a straightforward pop track. There really isn't a lot of danger in it. There's not a lot of darkness. There's not a lot of negativity in it at all. It is upbeat, it is bright, it is poppy, it is bubblegum sweet, and man, you can dance to this. It's a fun track, top to bottom. It really is the colorings of the instruments, the timbres, the production on them that changes it. Now, granted, I think at the end of the day, this is still an easy to listen to dancey track. I don't think that is completely removed, but a lot of the storytelling I get out of this is in the production, how the voice is delivered, what kind of sounds are used within the synthesizer to progress the track, what the guitars and trumpets sound like on this. Those are the things that inform the story. The composition is just the atmosphere. And I find that really interesting because I don't usually approach music that way. But that is what I get out of this track. As far as the kickoff for film score week, I don't want to use the word disappointed, but it's not what I would have selected. But it is interesting. Like I said, we did check out Live and Let Die a while ago, and this is a very cool contrast, but it predates a lot of my understanding of James Bond too. I don't know anything pre-turn of the century James Bonds. Like I came in on the Pierce Brosnan era, and I don't think I've seen anything prior to that. And I quit relatively after. I think the first Daniel Craig one was the only one I had seen of the recent stuff. Is that Casino Royale? Is that what that was? I don't know. I'm not a really big Bond fan, but it's cool to kind of dig into the history here, especially the musical side of the history, kind of see how things went. And both of these tracks have been kind of eye-opening. They're a very different side of Bond than I know. Let me hit some lyrics on this and we're going to wrap this one up. Well, as I mentioned, I've never seen this film. I don't know how much of these lyrics actually line up with it, but from what I get, it's rather surface level, which I suppose is, I mean, do you hand an artist the whole script for a film so they can write lyrics about it before the film's finished? I mean, that doesn't seem smart. That's how you get spoilers leaked across the internet. Granted, this was pre-internet, but still, I don't know. It's just incredibly vague. Verse 1 says, meeting you with a view to a kill. So they're meeting this person where someone is being killed within vicinity to it. You are able to see the murder happened, and that's where they're meeting. So it brings up danger into this meeting place. It says we meet face to face in secret places and feel the chill. Okay? Meeting up in secret places. Yeah, that's very spy, very secret agent. It says, nightfall covers me, but you know the plans I'm making. Still overseas, could it be the whole earth opening wide? I think this is interesting. Like I mentioned, it is global espionage. Bond can wind up anywhere. Here, though, moving under nightfall. Yep, very spy thing to do. Although, yeah, I guess there are like most of the scenes in my mind, like the prominent Bond scenes, the cool ones, are all daytime stuff. Bond isn't really a nighttime guy in my mind, but I'm sure there's nighttime scenes. It says we're still overseas, so that's the global element. It says it could be the whole earth opening wide, as if this danger, this problem could be anywhere. But then it says a sacred why, a mystery gaping inside. A week is why, until we dance into the fire. What does this mean? So there's a sacred question, a mystery that forms inside of Bond, inside of the earth. Are they drilling for something? But then it says a week is why. Like a week, 7 days. Is there a question about the? I don't understand that line at all. It says, until we dance into the fire, the fatal kiss is all we need. Two fatal sounds of broken dreams. So this is danger, obviously, dancing in the fire, just throwing yourself into the frying pan. That's what Bond does, throws himself into dangerous situations, always comes out on top, but they are dangerous. And, if he didn't do that and didn't get caught, well, he would never have the plans revealed to him in the middle of a death trap. So I suppose dancing into the fire, there is a levity to that. I'd say because of the campiness of especially classic Bond, or again, at least my understanding of classic Bond. But it says the fatal kiss is all we need. Here's to fatal sounds of broken dreams. Who's broken dreams? Bond wins every time? And the villain, his dreams to destroy the world or set up a moon laser or whatever he's doing, is always broken. Well, maybe that's what here's to the sound of broken dreams. We're victors. We're going to cheer to the enemy. Okay, maybe that's it right there. But the fatal sounds of broken dreams? Nah, I don't know. It sounds like they just wanted to work fatal in there again. It's an interesting chorus, and I completely forgot that it is dance into the fire, and it being a very dancey track lines up really well with that. And then the brightness and poppiness of it leans into the campiness. It actually works really well. More so than I was expecting now that I'm actually taking in some of the nuances to it. Now, the second verse says, the choice for you is the view to a kill. So you get to choose if you're around when someone gets murdered. It says, between the shades, assassination standing still. Not assassins standing still. The act itself is standing still. As if it's some sort of standoff, maybe. It says, the first crystal tears fall as snowflakes on your body, first time in years to drench your skin in lover's rosy stain. Yeah, that's an innuendo if I've ever heard one, which lines up, I suppose, with Bond just being a big womanizer. So I guess you had to toss a line like that in there. Maybe. You don't have to. Someone else have a different read on that? I don't know. A chance to find the phoenix for the flame, a chance to die, but we can dance into the fire. It says, we'll dance into the fire when all we see is the view to a kill. It's fine. I guess it does get the general idea across of someone who throws himself into danger, and there's relationships and they meet in shady places, and there's people getting assassinated. It feels very spy-ish, but it's very like surface level spy-ish. I gotta ask, and this is not engagement bait, I'm seriously interested about this. Are there any Bond title tracks where the lyrics actually line up with the events of the story? And I guess extending that, as vague as these are, do these events line up with the story? Is there something deep inside the earth, a mystery? Are they trying to get it? Is that why the line was the earth will open wide? Do people see an assassination? Are people always around? I guess Bond and the Bond girl, the female lead of the film, also always in view of assassinations? I don't know. I'm curious. There's 8 whole lines to this track. Is there fire in this film? Is that a core? Well, actually, for blowing the earth open or drilling down into it, magma? Yeah. Okay, maybe. Liquid hot magma? Other than that, it's like I get the gist of a lot of it. It's just not very cohesive lyrically, just kind of jumps around between ideas. Pairing this back to the music, again, there's a lot of danger and espionage and sneaking, and I don't really get much of that in the music, but it is a dancey track, and we are dancing into the fire. These are my thoughts. Duran Duran's If You Do a Kill. What did you think of this? Is there anything that stood out to you? Anything that you would like to add on to what I said or correct me on? Do you have your own take, perspective, or opinion on this song? Let me know. Put all of that as well as anything else you'd like to add into the comment section. I asked quite a few questions today. If you have answers to any of them, throw them down there too. I'm looking forward to that. Above the comment section in the description box, you'll find a link to Linktree. Takes you here. You can find links to my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. That wraps it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow, though, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.